Thank you so much for joining me as I talk about the most exciting new games coming to the Nintendo Switch 2 in 2026. And the first game that I absolutely have to talk about is Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. And if you've been following this channel for a little while, then you'll probably know why. Because Fire Emblem Three Houses is one of my favorite games of all time, probably my #1 favorite Nintendo Switch game of all time. So when we finally got to the end of the Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave trailer and they showed Sothis, I was absolutely hyped and really excited to see that we are getting a brand new Fire Emblem game set in the same universe as Fire Emblem Three Houses. Nintendo has not put out much information about this game, but there are YouTubers out there that have done trailer breakdown videos like Fairgast. I'm sure if you look up any kind of Fire Emblem content, you know who he is. There's a couple other ones out there, but this game is just really exciting because I love Three Houses for the really good characters, the fleshed out characters, the great writing, the great story, the phenomenal music. Just a really fun game with really fun strategy RPG turn-based combat. It's kind of like you're playing anime chess, a lot of people would say. So I am absolutely hyped and looking forward to playing Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave when it launches on the Nintendo Switch 2 in 2026. There is no set release date yet, but I'm confident that this game is coming soon, and I definitely can't wait to play it. If you have a Switch and you haven't played Three Houses and you like JRPGs, you need to play Three Houses and get ready for Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with the story, because Fire Emblem Three Houses had the whole thing where there was multiple routes, different endings, different things going on in the story. So it'll be interesting to see how they do this next Fire Emblem game. The second game that I want to talk about is one that I initially wasn't really all that excited about when it got announced. But as I covered it for this video and I looked at how content-packed this game is going to be, I have to say that I am pretty excited for it now, and it may just end up being a day-one purchase for me. And that game is Mario Tennis Fever. I'm not even the biggest tennis guy or Mario sports guy, but this game just looks really good because it's featuring a story mode in which Mario and friends find themselves transformed into babies on a remote island where they have to relearn their tennis skills and defeat monsters to return to normal. So that's cool that it's gonna have a significant amount of single player content. There is gonna be a whole story adventure mode. There's gonna be 30 different tennis fever rackets. So these tennis rackets in this game, or fever rackets, have different abilities that you can use. So this is going to be more of an arcade style tennis game where you're going to be doing some crazy things. And it has 38 different playable characters. That is a lot of fun. It looks like pretty much everyone that you would want to play with from the Mario universe is going to be in this game. There's going to be all kinds of different game modes. There's a tournament mode, Trial Towers mode, mix it up mode, online mode, casual and ranked matches. So this game does release on February 12th, 2026, and it's one that I'm sure a lot of people are going to be excited for and are going to enjoy. And the third game that I'm going to talk about is one that you may not have even heard has been announced for the Switch 2 yet, but it is really exciting for me because it is going to be getting a true Nintendo Switch 2 physical edition on March 19th of 2026. And this game is Rushing Beat X Return of the Brawl Brothers. So this is going to be a kind of 2.5D style beat 'em up. The characters and everything look like they're animated in 3D, but it does look like it's going to play like your standard 2D side scroller beat 'em up. And this is actually a game franchise that is being revived. I believe these games came out back on the SNES. They're doing a remake of this one or a new one, I'm not sure, but it looks really good. I actually read everything that they were talking about on the developer's page, and it looks like it's going to have a really good combo system where you can do unique combos. You have item weapons and equipped weapons in this game. It looks like there's going to be a ton of weapons to use, 2-player co-op, and the story is something about where you're going to be fighting these people that have been infected by this virus called Zika, and something to do with this cyber clone incident. So it looks like it's getting kind of futuristic, a little bit sci-fi. Does sound pretty cool, but what really matters about a beat 'em up is the gameplay, and it looks like it's promising, so hopefully it is when it releases on March 19th, 2026. And since we're talking about beat 'em ups right now, I may as well go ahead and mention Marvel Cosmic Invasion. This game is already out digitally. It has a Metacritic of like, I think 81 right now, which is really good for a beat 'em up. But if you prefer true physical games like I do and you like beat 'em ups, you don't care that the game's already out because you're happy to wait until March 13th when this game gets a true physical edition. It is going to get a standard physical and even a deluxe edition, so that is really cool. And this game has 15 different playable characters from the Marvel universe. It has an awesome retro art style, local and online co-op up to 4 players, and of course all your favorite Marvel characters are here, like Wolverine, Black Panther, Spider-Man, Captain America, Iron Man, Venom, etc. I'm definitely excited to play this game when the true physical edition drops for the Nintendo Switch 2. Real quick before I go on with this list, I just want to ask if you're enjoying this video, please hit that like button, hit that hype button. It really helps me out a lot in the algorithm and will help push this video out to more people. And if you like great Nintendo Switch 1 and 2 content, please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for more. Another really exciting game coming to the Nintendo Switch 2 on February 27th is Resident Evil Requiem, along with Resident Evil Biohazard and Resident Evil Village, all coming out on the same day. Unfortunately, yeah, they're going to be key cards, but they are bundling them all together. You can get all 3 games for $90, and it kind of sounds like they're trying to entice people to buy them all 3, because if you just buy Resident Evil Requiem, it's $70, but if you get the triple pack with all 3 key cards, it's going to be $90. So you'll only be paying like $10 each for the other games that are going to come in that triple pack. Now, this is a big deal for the Switch 2 because Resident Evil Requiem is a third-party game that's coming to the PS5, Xbox, everywhere, and Switch 2 on launch day. So that's huge. Hopefully we can get more of that, where we start seeing more big third-party games actually coming out on their launch day for the Switch 2 instead of putting out a port way later, especially now that a lot of these developers have had their dev kits for more time now. But of course, Resident Evil is a survival horror series. Are you excited for this coming to Switch 2? Let me know down in the comments. Another big third-party game coming to the Nintendo Switch 2 in 2026 is Final Fantasy VII Remake, which releases on January 22nd. This is a highly revered, highly critically acclaimed JRPG, kind of an action JRPG that does have some turn-based elements mixed in there as well. I mean, I don't really need to say much about this game, but it does look really good on the Switch 2, even comparable to other consoles like the PS5. And I did say comparable. I didn't say it looks just like it or better. So please take that into account. But I am actually excited to try this game out because I have never played it. And honestly, I have never actually played a Final Fantasy game. The closest I think I've gotten to playing something like Final Fantasy would probably be Bravely Default 2 for the Nintendo Switch. But this game looks great and I can't wait till it comes out. Unfortunately, it is going to get a key card release, but at least they priced it fairly at $40. And it also does come with a Magic the Gathering card for Final Fantasy VII Remake. Talking about classic Square Enix JRPGs, I do have to mention Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. I'm not even going to pretend like I'm a big Dragon Quest fan or anything because I still haven't even played a Dragon Quest game. I do have Dragon Quest XI on the Switch waiting for me, but Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, I have to just say this game looks great. It kind of looks like it lends a bit from that Bravely Default kind of art style and just really steps it up, which actually makes me think how great a Bravely Default 3 could look on the Nintendo Switch 2. This game looks absolutely gorgeous, and I know a major complaint that a lot of people had or have about Dragon Quest VII is that the intro in the beginning just drags on too long, and there's just, I guess there was just too much kind of filler content. The game took way too long. So for this game, instead of adding more, it looks like they're actually trimming down the fat and trying to make it a more refined experience. But this game does launch on the Nintendo Switch 2 on February 5th of 2026. Are you excited to pick it up? Let me know in the comments. So I've covered a good variety of games so far, but I haven't talked about any 2D platformers. But when I was working on this video and looking at the trailer for Super Mario Bros. Wonder Nintendo Switch 2 Edition Meetup at Bell Park, I got even more excited to play this game, because one thing that always really stood out to me about Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and I always said that makes it stand out from the rest of the 2D Mario games, is the fact that the multiplayer is the best that it's ever been in Super Mario Bros. Wonder. And with this new expansion, Meetup at Bell Park, it's going to add a lot more of that multiplayer excitement, a ton of different multiplayer modes to do, mini games to compete against each other with, and even some co-op modes as well. So this looks like it is going to be a lot of fun. But what I'm really curious to see, because they did tease in that Nintendo Direct, is that there is going to be more single player content as well. So I really can't wait until Nintendo reveals that, and I hope it's not underwhelming. Hopefully it'll add at least a good few hours to this experience and will be something very meaty and enjoyable to enjoy. Can't wait to pick this game up when it releases in spring of 2026. And I am kind of wondering, as I cover all these games, if some of them may get pushed back, because it looks like there's going to be a ton of Nintendo Switch 2 games releasing in the spring of 2026. And another exciting new platformer coming to the Nintendo Switch 2 in spring of 2026 is Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. And I know I keep saying this, but honestly, when I was working on this video and I looked at the trailer footage again, I had to just say, wow, this art style looks amazing. It looks like it kind of has that stop motion kind of style to it. Looks really good. Might be the best Yoshi game, best looking Yoshi game so far. And that's saying a lot, because the Yoshi games are usually known for their very artistic, cool looking art styles, cute looking art styles, whatever you want to call it. Honestly, I haven't been the biggest fan of the gameplay in these 2D Yoshi games. Really any of them, I gotta be honest. I haven't like fully beaten one of them. I've spent a few hours playing some of them, but they're usually just kind of babyish. But hopefully this one will be good. It's 2026 when this game is releasing. We're on the Switch 2 now, so come on, Nintendo, put out a really good Yoshi game. Let's go. But as far as the story goes, or what this game is about, Nintendo has only put out a brief summary saying something about that there's this book named Mr. E that just drops out of the sky. He's like this magical book person, and Yoshi jumps inside of him in this book and goes into this world where him and his friends are going to be discovering all kinds of different creatures. So I guess it's going to have like a storybook art style to it, which does sound really cool. I'm excited to see what this game looks like when it releases in spring of 2026. And I know that a lot of Pokemon fans are going to be excited on March 5th of 2026 when Pokopia releases. This is basically taking the Pokemon IP and turning it into like a life sim kind of town building game. I think it's made by the same developer of Dragon Quest Builders, those games, which is Koei Tecmo. Now, there is a lot of controversy about this release because Pokemon on Nintendo consoles is, of course, basically a first-party IP. And this game is going to be releasing for $70 on a game key card. So I would like to know, is that going to put you off from buying this game? Or are you still excited either way and you're not worried about what format the game comes in, if it's a true physical, digital key card or whatever? I know there are going to be some people that are going to be put off by that. In fact, I did cover it on this channel myself. And if you like key cards, that's fine. I'm not totally against them myself, but I probably won't be picking this up for 70. Maybe if it gets a price drop a little later on. I haven't really even played a whole lot of these types of games. But if you do want to stick it to Nintendo and not pick up this little cozy game key card, you can do that by picking up Animal Crossing Nintendo Switch 2 Edition on January 15th for $65. And this is an interesting release because this game has been out for many years and Nintendo has given us some free Switch 2 upgrades. Usually when they do a Switch 2 edition, they want to charge you the $60 for the base game and then $20 for the additional content or the upgrade if you're going for the true physical copy at least. But for this one, they're only charging $5 for the upgrade. So that is an interesting choice by Nintendo. And I actually never played Animal Crossing before. Of course, it is a life sim. Does maybe have some kind of farming elements in there. It is a cute game. It kind of looks like maybe something like Nintendo's take on The Sims. And I've never checked it out on the Nintendo Switch, so maybe I might be picking up this Nintendo Switch 2 edition when it does release on January 15th. Another big JRPG releasing on March 13th is Monster Hunter Stories 3. And this game is releasing on all platforms, but it does feel right home on the Switch 2 because this IP or franchise, whatever you want to call it, got its start with the first game on the Nintendo 3DS. The first and second games are both also available on the Nintendo Switch. And honestly, this third game looks like a big upgrade. The visuals look absolutely amazing. The way the world looks kind of reminds me of Breath of the Wild. The art style looks great. These games are known to be really cool turn-based monster collecting JRPGs. I haven't played one yet, but that might change when Monster Hunter Stories 3 releases for the Nintendo Switch on March 13th. Okay, so now we're gonna switch things up with some more action-packed games on this list, because now I'm going to be talking about Yakuza, Kiwami 3, and Dark Ties. Basically, this is gonna be a 2-for-1 package where you get a full remake of Yakuza 3 and a brand new story called Dark Ties. And this game does release on February 12th. Is this one that you're interested in picking up on the Nintendo Switch 2, or are you maybe going to pick it up on another platform because Sega is putting all of their games on these key cards? Or are you just a Switch 2 dedicated handheld player like me, so maybe that doesn't matter? I don't know if I'll be playing this on day one because I haven't played any Yakuza game yet, and I do want to start with 0, but this is exciting that this game is launching day and date on the Nintendo Switch 2, just like all the other platformers. I really am interested in checking out the Yakuza series. If you're a fan of it, let me know. Should I start it ASAP? Let me know down in the comments. Another big action-packed game coming to the Nintendo Switch 2 on March 27th is 007 First Light. And this is another big third-party game that is launching on the Switch 2 day and date, the same as all other platforms. So it looks like if you only have a Switch 2 in 2026, you're still going to be eating really, really good because there are going to be plenty of first-party and third-party offerings as well. And of course, this game is a James Bond game, so you're going to be playing with all kind of different gadgets. There is a third-person perspective. Of course, it's going to have the third-person shooter combat. It's going to have some stealth elements. It does look pretty cool, and I am interested in seeing more of this game. So hopefully we get to see some more trailers, some more footage soon before the game launches in 2026. The Adventures of Elliot is actually a game that has a free demo available right now on the Nintendo Switch 2. A lot of people say that this game kind of plays like the 2D top-down kind of Zelda games, and those games definitely have some good action elements in them. Now, this game does not have a set release date right now, but it is slated for 2026, according to Square Enix, who is the developer of this game. The art style looks great. It has the HD 2D kind of art style to it, but instead of it being a turn-based game like all the other ones are, they finally went with something different. If it's Zelda-like, I'm guessing there may be some puzzle elements, but I don't know because I haven't tried the demo out myself. I did download it. I did download it, but never got around to playing it. So if you played it, let me know, what did you think about The Adventures of Elliot? But let's go ahead and switch things up right now and talk about some more niche Nintendo exclusive games. Now, the next two games are going to be coming to both the Nintendo Switch 1 and 2, but the first one that I want to talk about is Tomodachi Life: Living the Dream. And I've never played Tomodachi Life, but I know that the fans of this series are really passionate about it. So I know when this game releases and they are able to play it, they really are going to be living the dream. Now, this game franchise, or this new installment, basically looks like Nintendo's take on The Sims. It looks kind of like a life sim type of game, but it looks really unique, really quirky. It has a lot to do with the Miis. You get to make and create your own custom Miis in this game, and you're on an island. You're doing all kinds of different things. I'm actually really excited to check this one out. I'm always down to check out a new style of game, a new genre, something different that I haven't tried before. And it looks like the online component of this game will really have that sense of community and could really enhance the experience as well. This game does not have a set release date, but it is set to release in the spring of 2026, just like another really niche Nintendo IP that is making a return like Tomodachi Life, and that game is called Rhythm Heaven, but the new installment is called Rhythm Heaven Groove. And I do want to mention as well that both of these games are getting Nintendo Switch 2 editions. I'm thinking they probably will get standard Nintendo Switch releases as well, but it's always cool when they get a Switch 2 edition and you can play it either on your Switch 1 or your Switch 2. Both of these games are slated for spring of 2026, but I am curious if maybe Nintendo or even some of these third parties may end up moving their games around, because it looks like there's just a ton of Switch 2 games coming in the spring of 2026 right now. And before I talk about the next game on this list, I just want to give a big shout out to one of the biggest gaming YouTubers, at least to me, in the gaming space here on YouTube. That is Johnny Millennium, Happy Console Gamer, for putting me on to the Ys series, because he talked about it so much on his channel, and he's been such an advocate for the Ys series that he got me to try out Ys Origin. I love that game, one of my favorite action JRPGs on the Nintendo Switch, but I gotta be honest, I did pick up Ys 8 and 9, but I never got around to playing them. But it is exciting that Ys 10, Proud Nordics, is coming to the Nintendo Switch 2 on February 20th. Now, it is unfortunate that so far they've revealed this game to be a key card release, but you know what? I'm just happy to be getting these great titles on the Switch 2. This looks like a great action JRPG. I believe the original version reviewed pretty well, but this is kind of like the enhanced version. I guess it's kind of going to be like what Atlas does with their games, like Persona 5 to Persona 5 Royal or Shin Megami Tensei 5 to 5 Vengeance. It's going to have additional content. I guess it'll make the story better. But the only Ys game I played was Origin, but the action combat in that game was amazing. So I am excited to check out Ys 10 Nordics on the Nintendo Switch 2. Hopefully it's running good, 60 FPS and all that. Can't wait to check it out. But before I end this video, I do want to mention a couple of honorable mentions, and those are, well, let's just start with Elden Ring. That was revealed at the big first Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, and I guess people got to try it out and everything, and they were saying it ran like trash. So I guess From Software has pushed that game back, and it's supposed to release in 2026, but we don't know yet. And then, of course, they do have Duskbloods, which they revealed as well at that big first Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. But I'm thinking that the plan they're going with is probably going to be to get Elden Ring on the Switch 2 first and then Duskblood. So I'm not sure if both of those games will release in 2026 or not. It looks like they're really trying to take their time and get the port of Elden Ring running good and right on the Switch 2. So we'll have to see. But I really would like to know from you all, what games are you excited to pick up on the Nintendo Switch 2 in 2026? Please let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have a great day, great morning, night, whatever time it is for you, and I will definitely catch you on the next one.